Welcome to Ausable Valley Disc Golf. I'm John, here with Alex. Today we are playing Robert Morris Park, the short layout, just outside Kalamazoo, Michigan. Let's get into hole 1. 207 feet, par 3.
Yeah, so I start out here with a passion. I'm just trying to go up the middle, and I pull it off a little bit to the right, end up getting to about 33 feet from the pin.
Yeah, I'm trying to go up the hill with the Avenger SS, and I just want something to go up straight, and I end up getting to the top of the hill, and a little left-handed flick, and it puts me within putting distance.
Oh yeah. Like I said, I ended up about 33 feet out or so, and I just left it a little bit shortened to the right. It's got to be something that I make throughout the coming season, though.
Right, and just tapping in for a par on hole 1 is never a bad thing.
Yeah, especially with a hole that we're not really, familiar with.
Right.
Hole 2, 160 feet, par 3. This one is a very tight fairway, and I just release early with a Luna and end up the hill there.
Yeah, I have a soul, and I'm looking for something to go straight and maybe fade a little to the left, and it actually flies just perfect. I thought it might be a little high, but it turned out pretty good.
Yeah, I was calling for it to sit down, but like John said, it was perfect. And here I try and throw a zone, and I hit the initial gap I was aiming for, so I can't complain. But that second tree kind of put me down, and with this jump putt, I kind of scared it just a little bit off to the right.
Yeah, and here's where my drive ended up, and again, it was pretty much a tap in. I couldn't ask for anything better.
Start out par birdie and
Right,
off to the races.
One under through 2 is never a bad thing.
And here's my little tap in, starting out par bogey. Hopefully I can get on track coming soon.
Hole 3, 194 feet, par 3. I got my zone, and I'm thinking a little bit left, watch it curl into the basket, and I early release, throw it in the ground. Never had a chance.
Yeah. And I try and throw my pink zone here, sidearm, but I also threw it low, but it got a skip until it hit a tree. Can't complain with the result though, in the fairway.
Yeah, I'm off to the right a little bit, and I'm thinking just a nice, easy little flick. I didn't want to go 100 miles past, and I ended up way short. Didn't get the ground play I was hoping for, so I left myself to test her.
Yep, and here I try and do another jump putt at it. Gave it another little scare, but just a little bit off to the right again.
Yeah, here's my tester, and I put it. I wanted to make sure I put enough on it, and I hit the top of the basket, and I got a nasty roll away, about 28 feet.
Yeah, and that roll away was very unprecedented, especially for how flat the ground was. But
yeah, you can tell from my body language I wasn't too happy with the roll away. I thought I made a pretty good putt on it, and for it to roll that far, I was a little upset. But that's disc golf, and you have to take the rolls.
And I feel like it kind of got in your head here on this one, but
yeah,
with the wind, it might
yeah,
not have.
for some reason I never looked at the flag. Even though if you look at the flag, it's actually very windy out there, and after I putt it, the wind just kind of picked it up and threw it right over the basket.
Didn't feel like there was that much wind, but it lifted it.
After that putt, he's got this comebacker here in this little thick bush, and as you can tell, he kind of needs it to get back on track.
Yeah, I was very upset with how this hole went. I thought it was a must get, easy get, and obviously to take a number above par was not in my plans.
Yeah, and here I'm trying to do a little straddle out, and I thought I made a good putt here. Just spit right through the chains, and
This shit regulation height.
kind of disappointing. As you can hear, we're doing a little banter there about the basket being regulation height. But
Yeah, it's a little short. It ended up being just a little over my waist height, and not that that's an issue, but it is what it is.
hole 4, 253 feet, par 3. I start out here with my Hades trying to go forehand. I just wanted it to flip up, which it never really did. and it hit that far tree there and just kind of sat me down right where it was at.
I have my overstable Raptor, and I'm just trying to throw something hard at the basket. I was hoping to keep it low, but I turned it a little late release, and I ended up hitting this tree. And then I got a zone here that I was in between shots. I couldn't decide to flick or backhand it. I went with the backhand, and I tried to get some ground play, maybe a skip, but I didn't want to skip too much, and it didn't do too well for me.
Yeah, and here you can see I'm trying to figure out my options. I'm trying to figure out to go left or right of this tree, and if I go left, I'm trying to skip it up towards the basket. If I go right, I'm trying to anhyzer it into the basket. And I ultimately decided to go left here just because I knew if I went right, the hillside was right there and I wasn't going to get the ground play. And by going left here, I end up hitting this bush, but I think if I got past that bush, it would have been just fine of a shot. Up next here, I've got this little putt uphill. It's about 28 feet, and I just leave it low. I never really got it up to chain height.
Yeah, so here's my putt that I wasn't all that happy with how close I got, and I got super lucky. It hit the cage, and it should have skipped. 99% of the time it skips, but I think the soft plastic really gripped that cage, and it flipped in. We don't know how it went in.
I've never seen one in go that way. Little tap-ins.
Hole 5, 168 feet, par 3. So after that shot, you know, I was kind of feeling good, and I thought, you know, I'm just going to take my soul again and basically try to duplicate the same throw I threw on hole 2. But I turned it over just a little bit too much, and it ended up going a little further left and caught some trees.
I don't know what I'm doing.
And,
I know what I'm doing, but I'm doing everything wrong.
Yeah, you could tell I wasn't happy with my throw.
up here I got my zone, or my Luna, I'm sorry, and I finally threw it the way that I thought I should, and I still ended up short, but not a bad shot considering the first.
Yeah, I was trying to tell myself to throw low, but being as tall as I am, low wasn't low enough. And I caught some branches, and so here I am with a weird kind of straddle type putt, and again, not low enough, caught another branch.
Yep. And here I am about 33 feet out again, uphill, and after missing the last one low, I just wanted to make sure I got this one high enough, which I did, put it center pole and ins and in.
Yeah, that was a great putt, and you really needed to kickstart your round.
Oh yeah.
And you know, I got the nice little tap in.
Hole 6, 172 feet, par 3. So I start out here with that same Luna, and I try and throw it straight at the basket, and a little bit early release, but overall not a bad shot.
Yeah, I'm just looking to throw something straight. The basket's literally straight in front of us. And I had that feeling that, you know, this was going to be a good shot. You know, you see me looking at the disc, and it just feels right in your hands. It's just one of those moments. And so I step up feeling really confident, and I let it fly, and it's a laser right at the basket, and I thought I had a chance.
Yep. And you hear me calling for it to go in, and he was maybe a foot over the basket at most and flew right over top of it. And here you see me, this is where I ended up. It is maybe 20 feet from the basket, but there is no play towards it. You can see I'm thinking going up high and letting it drift in, going around the other side letting it drift in, but
yeah,
even if I was 10 feet tall, there was no getting around it.
Yeah, and you've got thorns, and you've got all kinds of things trying to grab a hold of you. It was not a very comfortable standing position, for sure.
Yeah, and you see, I'm just weighing my options at this point, thinking, you know, what's going to give me the best chance to get at least a shot at the basket.
Yeah, I know even from my angle, I was trying to contemplate on what kind of throw, you know. over the top, around the sides. It was really a jail.
Yep. And you see, I'm picking up the disc upside down here, just trying to throw it on its face and let it slide, because I knew if I put it the correct way up, it would just dig into the ground and stop.
You executed it great. And here I am for my birdie putt, and I ended up putting a really good putt on, and I was really impressed I birdied that.
Yep. And here I am with about a 12-foot comebacker and put her in.
Hole 7, 145 feet, par 3. This is a nice, easy, straight shot. Problem is with nice, easy, straight shots, you get confident, and sometimes you don't do what you want to do.
Yeah, a little bit of low release for him for that one, and I do the same thing with my zone, just a little bit low release, get a little bit ground play. Try this little turnover shot, kind of scare the basket, but it was a little too high.
Yeah, I got the straddle putt because I got a couple of small little trees in my way, and I'm not a very good straddle putter, and so I always seem to leave them a little bit left when it's anything of a distance, and I kind of duplicate it.
I feel like he had great pace, just a little bit too much to the left.
Yeah.
And there I am from about 15 feet again, put it on center pole, and
yeah, we ended up with pars. There's nothing wrong with a par.
Yep. Hole 8, 107 feet, par 3. In this hole, there is no real correct way to throw it. It's a pretty difficult shot shape.
Yeah, I have a flick that I'm trying to do here, and I barely even throw it because I'm just trying to get accuracy, not distance.
Yep. And I try and throw my Luna here, and haven't been throwing it good all day. Throw it a little bit low, and just not a good result.
Yeah, you can even hear the wildlife even laughing at our throws.
Yep.
I go right between that V tree. You'll see from a different angle. There was not much there.
No, it's probably about a disc wide, and
I ended up hitting a flagpole. You know, it's a shot I probably shouldn't have thrown.
From about 20 feet out, I put in my par. He puts in his, and we move on to hole 9.
Hole 9, 154 feet, par 3. This one, it's very downhill. It may not look like it here, but you can't see the basket. And I was trying to figure out what kind of throw to throw. Finally, I just said, I'm going to throw a junk shot. I went tomahawk because anything backhand was going to hit a tree, and I just wanted distance.
Yep. I try and throw my Luna, and still haven't been throwing it good all day. So I pull it a little bit, hit a tree. I take one of my other putters out, and I just try and throw something down that'll get me close. End up getting to about 8 feet.
Yeah. I was hoping to just put a nice high putt and let it kind of hyzer spike into the basket or near bouts. And it landed right on edge, and it rolled down this steep hill.
Yep. About 60 feet downhill, and you can see here how steep that hill is.
Yeah, now you kind of get a real feel for how steep this hill is. And I'm in this spot. I'm trying to figure out how to get footing. I'm trying to figure out how to backhand, how to forehand. It's a real mess right there. Every small little branch, you know, even for a guy my height, I couldn't go over the top. I was thinking tomahawk, thumber, flick. Finally, I just kind of gave up. And I wish I would have chose a better disc to flick, because flicking a putter for me, I haven't done very well. And then I look at this putt, and I know it's death behind me, because if I miss, it's going to go right back down where I came from. And
makes a good putt.
I put a good putt on it.
There's my putt from about 8 feet out. Moving on to hole 10 here, 259 par 3. I start out with my buzz, and you can see here I'm just calling for it to get down, because I knew behind that basket was a lot of woods, and if it got in there, I had no chance at a bird.
Yeah, I've got my Avenger SS. I was trying to throw something that would flip up. I knew we had a tailwind, and I was hoping that maybe I could get a little more straightness, but it didn't work out. But I at least got down there. So now I got this long putt, and I basically just wanted to get it close. I didn't really expect to make it, but I gave it a good run.
Yeah, and you can see just how far down in the woods I got here. I thought it hit a tree and dropped it, but it didn't. So I tried to throw a little forehand out, maybe try and get a little bit closer. Back to a straddle putt here, and this time I put it on the pole and take my par.
And I got my little easy up par putt.
There you go.
Hole 11, 285 feet, par 3.
So I start out here with a passion, and after throwing it I realized I made the wrong disc choice because we had a headwind. It was just going to flip that disc over. Not a bad result, but could have been better.
Yeah, and you had mentioned something about grabbing an Undertaker, and I was like, you know what? That sounds like a great disc for this shot. So that's what I grabbed. I grabbed my Undertaker, and I actually threw probably, in my opinion, the best drive I've thrown all day. As you can see, it was really straight, and it even turned to the left a little bit, and before it faded, and it ended up being pretty close to the basket.
And you can see here it's just death behind the basket, and I probably should have laid up, but knowing me, I'm just aggressive, and it left me with a 35-footer. Coming back uphill, gave it a little jump putt scare off the top there, and next time I think I'll just lay that one up to the little pad there. Tap out my bogey.
Yeah, and here's where my drive ended up. So it was a nice little tap in. You could see the basket was literally about a foot above the ground.
Yeah, it was a very short basket. Hole 12, 270, par 3.
Yeah, and here I am. I'm thinking it's the left side is open, so just throw it as hard as you can. Maybe get up on top of that hill.
Yeah. Watch that sign. Executes a great shot, gets across the road there, and then I flip over my Zeus here over to the other side. Stayed safe. There's not really an out of bounds that we could see, so anywhere down there is safe.
Yeah, and I had my TI swirl, and I was trying to get something to Anheuser and maybe hit on an Anheuser, and ended up flexing out.
And here I'm seeing the slope behind the basket, so I'm thinking, give it a run and hopefully you put it in. I had a great line on it, just a little bit too high.
Yeah, and I got an uphill putt. Those can always sometimes be tricky. I executed it pretty good for myself, though.
And then the first person view here of me tapping out my par.
Hole 13, 185 feet, par 3. And we had to let a few cars go by before I got to throw this one, but I got to throw my soul, and I wanted something that would definitely turn left because I didn't want it to go over the fence.
Yeah, and here I went with my zone. After throwing it, I realized I probably should have went a little more disc. It was a little bit further than I had thought. And it left me right where this tree is at. Tried a little jump putt at it, and I gave it another little scare, just couldn't get that jump putt dialed in.
Yeah, and I ended up pulling this putt a little bit. It was outside the circle, so it wasn't a gimme, but I still felt like I should have made it.
Yeah. And here at this tap in, I'm thinking just put it in, and it just hit left side and fell right out.
Yeah, and I tapped mine in.
Yeah. Through frustration, I decided to put the camera in the basket. Hole 14, 262 feet, par 3.
Yeah, this one's a little uphill, so I wanted to throw my Avenger SS. I wanted something to go and hook to the left a little bit, because it goes uphill and goes to the left, and it didn't turn out too bad.
Yeah, he hits a little tree limb and pushes it, and I'm thinking, don't hit the tree limb. So I hit the tree limb, and it does the same thing. It just pushes it. I ended up about 30 feet from the basket.
Yeah, I had this upshot. You can see the small little trees up above or in front of me, and I had to get the disc up above them.
Yep. And here I'm thinking, oh, this is a great place to take a stroke. Doing a little straddle putt because I had some sticks over on the other side of me that were obstructing my putt, and I just left it low.
Yeah, we ended up both tapping in for par. Not bad, but I don't think the result that Alex was looking for.
Nope.
Hole 15, 264 feet, par 3. This one's nice and open, and it was still windy, so I wanted to keep it low and maybe get some ground play, and it didn't turn out too bad.
Yep. And then I throw my truth here, and I knew the understability of the disc, and it shaped great for the hole. if it would have kept fading just a little bit longer, might have had a legitimate chance at an ace. And you see where it put me after it faded out. It was complete jail in there, and I had to pitch out, tap in for a par.
Yeah, and just like the hole, I believe it was hole 3 where I overshot because I wasn't paying attention to the wind. Same thing. I shot it and nose up, and the wind just carried it. Luckily, the flagpole was there.
Yep. Hole 16, 169 feet, par 3. There is no shot, true shot at this basket. You have to go up and over.
You have to go up and over these trees. There's not a line. There's not a line of sight. You don't even see the basket. You just have to kind of shoot and pray.
Yep. And he throws it a little bit low and wide, and I'm thinking just get it out wide and let the disc crash in and hope for the best.
Yeah, you can see where I ended up on my drive, and there was really nothing. I finally decided to throw this little flick roller and just pray and hope it makes its way through.
Makes it through a little 3-inch gap that I still don't know how he hit, and turns out all right, but...
Yeah, but I kind of got, for the luck that I had on that throw, I got the bad luck of the putt.
Taps out, and I'm probably about 10 feet away from the basket here. So I played Plinko and got away with it. Tapped in for a nice little birdie there.
Hole 17, 285 feet, par 3.
Yeah, I start out with my Hades here, and I was thinking, put a good rip on this. I know I'm close. Threw it a little bit low, but once that disc caught edge on the ground, it just took it and spun it off to the left side over there.
Yeah, and with the left side being so open for a left-hander, I knew I just had to throw it hard and high, and it should end up in the fairway.
Yeah, and you see these bushes and sticks right here in the way. I had to go up and over them. So I kind of had to throw this spike hyzer with my zone, and it turned out all right, but I definitely left a little meat on the bone.
Yeah, and I had this putt, and I ended up being a little bit shorter than I wanted to. I needed to throw it a little harder and not quite so high.
Yeah, I had this putt from about 15 feet downhill, put it on the stripe, and move into hole 18 down one stroke. Hole 18, 165, par 3. I wanted to throw a Raptor here, and I wanted to throw it lower. And once I put it up too high, it just sailed and was gone.
Yeah, and I knew that little gap right there. I was like, just get this zone straight through there, and then let its natural turn and fade do its work, and it turned out pretty good. I ended up hitting this branch that Alex is walking by right now, and it shot my disc down, and you'll be able to see it here in a minute. Ended up being about anything I could ask for.
Yeah, and this putt right here is from about 50 feet. I'm thinking, there's not really a shot in here, just put it close to the basket. And right out of my hand, I thought it was in. And apparently it almost shot out. I didn't see it from my side.
Yeah, you can see it spun right there on the cage.
Nothing like ending the video with a nice little highlight.
Yeah, and so here it is, me for the putt, for the quote-unquote win between the two of us. And Alex tries to put a little pressure on me. But as you can see, it wasn't that hard of a putt, and I finished.
And John here moves to 2-0 on the season against me.
Yeah, I shot a 1 over, Alex shot a 2. Not bad. Overall, the course was a great course. For beginners, it's a good course. There's some tight gaps. The rough is not forgiving. But overall, I'd give it a 3.8.
Yep, a 3.8 from me as well. There is a $5 fee to get into the park, but other than that, it's not too bad. It's a pretty nice park. It's a little bit of walking,
yeah.
But
so please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.